Joining me now, retired Marine intelligence officer Hal Kempfer. Hal, where does the alliance stand with Europe? I mean, this has been a long time building. It's quite clear that European leaders don't trust the U.S. anymore, at least to the degree they used to, don't trust its commitment to the alliance. And President Trump, it's not the first time President Trump has threatened to leave, punish, etc. I mean, is the alliance as good as done at this point?
Jim, I don't think it's as good as done, but it is very strained. As you saw, that, of course, more recently, we saw there talk about two tiers, or sometimes called that the White House will have a naughty list and a nice list for European countries. A lot of it seems to be really focused on the reluctance of European countries to get pulled in to epic fury to do anything in the Strait of Hormuz or do anything with the war with Iran. And of course, the White House says you should be down there because you have a bigger stake in getting the strait open than we do. And that's exactly what Pete Hegseth said today in his remarks, which was in so many words, basically saying Europe has more use for the strait, the oil, natural gas, everything comes out of it than the U.S. does. But yes, it has put a great strain on the alliance. Although with some countries like Poland, I think we're probably have a stronger relationship.
The question is, though, this is not the only dispute, right? I mean, a few weeks ago, the alliance was, it seemed, ready to blow up over President Trump's demand to take over Greenland, the sovereign territory, of course, of NATO ally Denmark. And the issue that I hear from European officials, at first privately, but now you hear it quite publicly, is they just don't believe that the U.S. would come to their defense. I mean, that's the root of the alliance, is it not? Mutual defense.
It really is. I mean, Article 5, and of course, I would remind everyone, the only time Article 5 was ever invoked, which is sometimes the Musketeers thing, which is one for all and all for one, basically says that countries have to commit to the common defense of all the countries. Now, what it doesn't say specifically is what that commitment was. And the fear, I think, in Europe is the U.S. remains a member, but if something happens, for example, if the Russians were to encroach on the Baltics, would our response be somewhat lagging in that response, or certainly with the problems they're having with what's sometimes called gray zone activities by the Russians all over Europe, hybrid warfare, the U.S. response is lagging. It's not what it used to be. It's not this robust leadership role that we have. That's where the strain is really being felt.
Let me ask you this, as an intelligence officer yourself. Who controls the Strait of Hormuz right now? Because President Trump, of course, has claimed that the Iranian Navy has been destroyed. It has certainly been damaged, deeply damaged, but it still has the ability to lay mines. And there's an intelligence assessment that found it could take up to 6 months to fully clear the Strait of Hormuz. Does Iran maintain effective control?
Well, I would say nobody actually controls the Strait of Hormuz, but in fact, Iran still has tremendous influence and a degree of control over Hormuz. They don't have the big navy they had. They don't have the larger combatants. They do have these fast boats, these gunboats that they've been using. That's what they use to basically seize two ships that were going through. That's about what they're relying on. That's Revolutionary Guard Corps, I should mention, not the regular Navy that runs those. They have mines. And of course, there's been discussion of we're going to start attacking any boat that we think is laying mines out there. And then they have some midget submarines or so out there, but they just don't have a robust naval presence. But it doesn't take much. This is modern warfare. This is warfare with drones, missiles, things like that. So, yeah, they do kind of control it away, but I would say nobody really does control it. And that's the problem. Yeah,
asymmetric warfare on so many fronts. Before we go, what's your best assessment as to the status of these U.S.-Iran negotiations? We've seen a number of delays, various extensions of deadlines, and now you have, I mean, listen, the president's son-in-law and one of his best friends, Steve Witkoff, are on their Pakistan, we're told, tomorrow, but the Iranians are saying, well, we're not really having talks tomorrow. Are there talks?
I didn't see any talks happening. I found it was interesting. Arakchi, the foreign minister, going out there. He's not just visiting Pakistan. He's actually making a big trip around. He ends up in Russia and some other places. But that we're sending a delegation out there, maybe on the off chance we can speak to him. He is a voice. He is someone that we can talk to, I think, more than others. But the problem is he doesn't call the shots in Tehran. So whatever he would say or agree to, it still has to go back to this hardcore element of the Revolutionary Guard Corps. They're going to actually make the decisions. And so far, we've seen whatever comes out of Islamabad, you have to take it with a grain of salt because you're not quite sure if the Iranians agreed to it or we're just saying they agreed to it.
That's a problem when you're sitting across the table from each other. Hal Kempfer, good to have you on the show.
Thank you, Jim.